1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey guys, Janice Pelicano here. This morning I'm going to identify and discuss the three types of lever and how it works. Before I start the discussion, let me first define lever. A lever is a simple machine consisting of a beam or a rigid rod pivoted at a fixed hinge fulcrum.
A lever is a rigid body capable of rotating on a point on itself. On the basis of the locations of fulcrum, load, and effort, the lever divided into three types. Also, a leverage is a mechanical advantage gained in a mechanical system. It is one of the 6 machines identified by Renaissance scientists. A lever amplifies an input force to provide a greater output force, which is said to provide leverage. The ratio of the output force to the input force is the mechanical advantage of the lever. As such, the lever is a mechanical advantage device, trading off force against movement.
Levers in our body are formed from bones, joints, and muscle.
A lever consists of, first, a rigid structure. Second, a force acting upon it to produce turning movement. Third, a fulcrum, which is a fixed point. Fourth, a load or resistance that is placed on the rigid structure.
So now, let's proceed to the three types of lever, which is the first class lever, second class lever, and the third class lever. So, in the first class lever, the effort moves a larger distance to move the load a smaller distance, and the fulcrum is between the effort or force and the load.
As the ratio of effort or force arm length to load arm length increase, the mechanical advantage of a first-class lever increases. How is a first-class lever used? First-class lever systems provide a way for the body to change the direction, speed, and strength of movement at a joint. All first-class levers reverse the direction of movement like a seesaw, so that applying force in one direction results in the load moving the opposite direction.
So, I have here an example of the first-class lever.
So in the picture, the workman uses a trolley to move the large packing case. The fulcrum is the wheel.
The effort moves a larger distance to move the load a smaller distance, and the fulcrum is between the effort or force and the load. So next is the second class lever. In the second class lever, the load is located between the effort and the fulcrum.
If the load is closer to the fulcrum than the effort, then less effort will be required to move the load. If the load is closer to the effort than the fulcrum, then more effort will be required to move the load. I have here an example of the second class lever. Stand on tip toes. The pivot is at your toe joints and your foot acts as a lever arm. Your calf muscles and Achilles tendon provide the effort when the calf contracts. The load is your body weight and is lifted by the effort. The effort force needed is less than the load force, so there is a mechanical advantage. The muscular movement at the back of your legs allows you to move your whole body a small distance.
Lastly is the third class lever. So in the third class lever, the effort is located between the load and the fulcrum. If the fulcrum is closer to the load, then less effort is needed to move the load. If the fulcrum is closer to the effort, then the load will move a greater distance.
I have here an example of the third class lever. The pivot is at the elbow and the forearm acts as the lever arm. The biceps muscle provides the effort or force and bends the forearm against the weight of the forearm. And any weight that the hand might be holding the load is farther away from the pivot than the effort.
To sum it all, the difference between the three classes depends on where the force is, where the fulcrum is, and where the load is. In a first-class lever, the fulcrum is located between the input force and output force, while in a second-class lever, the output force is between the fulcrum and input force. Lastly, third-class lever has a force in between the fulcrum and the load. So that's all for the discussion in anatomy and physiology of human movement. I hope that you've learned something in my discussion.